Hey there, movie lovers! If you're a fan of disaster movies, you've come to the right place. Today we're exploring some of the best hidden disaster films you've probably never heard of. Get ready for some heart-pounding action, mind-blowing visuals, and unforgettable stories. These gems are about to steal the spotlight. Let's jump right in, hey.
Лера, ты слышишь меня? Здравствуй, дочь.
Обещай мне, что ты доставишь ее сюда в целости и сохранности.
Да, Свет, обещаю.
Система поиска.
Set in the near future, the film follows the incredible Lera Arabova, a 15-year-old girl living with her family in Vladivostok. Lera's father has been working on the orbital space station Mira for years, and their communication is limited to just his voice on the phone. After a meteor shower devastates the city, Lera has one chance to save her loved ones and her city from an even greater disaster. With the help of satellite surveillance systems, her father guides her from space, watching her every step. Though lesser known, this film impresses with its incredible special effects, keeping you on the edge of your seat until the very end. This riveting tale starts when Christian Eichjord, a seismologist, starts feeling really anxious after picking up on signals that a big disaster might be coming. He's been haunted in the past by a massive earthquake he saw, and now he's facing his worst nightmare all over again as the ground starts shaking in Oslo, Norway. With buildings crumbling and streets turning to rubble, Christian has to fight to save his family. It's not just about surviving the earthquake, it's a psychological thriller about uncontrollable natural forces and the terror of knowing that sometimes all you can do is run.
절대로 경계를 늦춰서는 안 돼. 거기 아닌데. 애기들이 왔네. 사실하고 좀 다른데.
This riveting tale starts when Christian Eichjord, a seismologist, starts feeling really anxious after picking up on signals that a big disaster might be coming. He's been haunted in the past by a massive earthquake he saw, and now he's facing his worst nightmare all over again as the ground starts shaking in Oslo, Norway. With buildings crumbling and streets turning to rubble, Christian has to fight to save his family. It's not just about surviving the earthquake. It's a psychological thriller about uncontrollable natural forces and the terror of knowing that sometimes all you can do is...
정준아. 어? 그 의외로 합이 맞는구만, 그래.
And you're a free man.
Is that the only way in?
The only way in, the only way out.
How much longer?
I'm so excited to tell you about the incredible film The 33. It's based on the true story of the 2010 Chile mine disaster, and it'll take you on a journey deep into the dark, claustrophobic depths of a collapsed mine. You'll be in the company of 33 miners who are trapped 700 meters underground, fighting for survival against starvation, madness, and despair. It's a daily battle as they wait for rescue, knowing that on the surface, their families are desperately fighting to bring them home. It's hard to watch, but you'll be on the edge of your seat. You'll feel everything the miners and their families are feeling: hope, despair, anger, and above all, love. The Norwegian thriller The Wave is set in the beautiful Geiranger Fjord, which is dangerous but also stunning. Geologist Christian sees that a huge mountain is about to fall into the water, which would cause a tsunami that could wipe out an entire valley. Christian must find a way to save his family, and he must do this quickly before time runs out, and he can face his fears. The stunning visuals and the terrifying story about nature's uncontrollable forces make this one a must-watch for all you disaster fans out there. This film takes us to 1980s Armenia, where an earthquake strikes out of the blue, shattering the peaceful lives of the inhabitants. Buildings collapse, and people are buried under the rubble in the blink of an eye. Two men, once enemies, must now work together to save those still alive. It's a story not only about the destructive power of nature, but also about the bravery, sacrifice, and hope that arise when life hangs by a thread. Just picture it, a really bad hurricane and a bunch of criminals who are planning to rob a government vault in the middle of the storm. With $600 million at stake, these criminals are ready to do whatever it takes. But as the hurricane gets stronger, they realize they're in a race against nature itself. The storm is destroying everything in its path, and the situation is getting more and more desperate. So, survival becomes the ultimate goal. It's not just about a heist. It's about battling nature and humanity. In a not-so-distant Seoul, a city grappling with the aftermath of a devastating disaster, survivors find themselves on a journey of rebuilding their lives in the face of chaos, violence, and a world where moral values seem to falter. They are faced with the heart-wrenching challenge of digging deep to confront their darkest secrets as they try to find a way to survive in a world where fear and mistrust reign. Concrete Utopia is a poignant reflection on the human spirit's resilience in times of crisis, asking how our core humanity remains when faced with unimaginable devastation. This film is all about an environmental disaster, which is basically an explosion on an oil rig that starts a huge fire in the sea. The main character is a young engineer who has to try really hard to save herself and her family from the fire. It shows how difficult and upsetting such a disaster would be. It's a really exciting mix of suspense and horror, and if you like disaster thrillers that make you feel emotional, you'll definitely want to watch this one.